We are on the afternoon break on the third day of questioning of the undercover police officer Carlo Sorachi, who, using the fake name Carlo Neri, infiltrated the Socialist Party, No Platform, anti-fascist groups. We've had further questioning of him this afternoon. I'm joined off screen by Lindsay.
Hello again.
Who was one of the women he deceived into a long-term intimate relationship. What have you made of what we heard from Carlo Sorachi this afternoon?
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm falling asleep after lunch. So, yeah, it will be minimal analysis from me
It's only
today.
a short break.
It's only a short break, thankfully. So, yeah, we came back into the room with the question, did you have sex with anybody else apart from Lindsay, Donna, and your current wife whilst undercover? And his answer was no. So 2 things I've got to say to that. I think he's maybe not being entirely truthful about when he started the sexual relationship with his current wife.
Yes.
Also, it wasn't for lack of trying, I don't think. I mean, in some of the documents, he writes in quite disgusting terms, actually, about some women activists, and it's quite obvious he has an attraction to these activists. Yeah. And he says to Operation Herne officers, but I wouldn't, they were up for it, but I wouldn't go there, you know what I mean? He fucking would, he'd be up there, he'd be in there like a shot if anybody showed him the slightest bit of attention. So it wasn't for lack of trying, but yes, he says no, he didn't have sex with anybody else because he had no fucking time to, So he was in relationships for probably, 3.5 or more years of his, 5.5 year deployment. So literally no time. Then went into a bit about, quite a long bit about the May Day 2001 kettling of demonstrators in Trafalgar Square.
There was a huge amount of questions.
Circus, sorry.
Yeah, Oxford Circus. Yeah, there was a tremendous amount of questions from Barr about that. I mean, this is the civil claim, the fact that he briefed John Beggs, the Met lawyer, who was representing the Met when Lois Austin brought the civil claim about the kettling. Yeah. It was interesting, actually. Whilst it was going on, Alison turned to me and went, do you think they asked the undercover cops to brief the lawyers about us when we brought civil claims? Which is not something I'd ever considered, to be honest.
And it's not, I really wouldn't put anything past.
I mean, I assume they would have done.
Net lawyers,
especially given this. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how disgusting that they're discussing. I mean, Carla was like, oh no, I wasn't asked very much. I don't know who was there. I can't really remember. It was, I wasn't there for very long. He's downplaying. Yeah. And he is going in to give counsel the evening before. Was this the evening before?
It was the day before. Yeah.
The cross-examination of Lois, information which would actually get her to lose her cool on the stand, which would reflect badly on her. So I mean, it's absolutely vile. Lois said the other day she was questioned really harshly, and it did rattle her. She, a young woman, new parent, fairly new parent. You're not at the top. Lois is always at the top of her game. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Lois.
Hang on.
No matter what her situation is, she's always at the top of her game. But being questioned really, really aggressively is going to get you slightly rattled. You know what I mean? No matter.
Well, what was something I really took out from that was it was based the reason he was being questioned so specifically on it about this comment about things that would wind her up was based on the handwritten notes that appeared from the Operation Herne interview that he had to give in 2013,
I think.
Yeah. And he said, which is something we've heard from many of the undercover officers, he went, I didn't realize that was an interview. I thought that was just a cozy chat with two officers in comfortable chairs.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's a mix. The things I've seen of what was said to Herne, it's a mixture of like banter and lies, loads of lies, loads and loads of lies, but actually some truth slips in there, and now it is actually turning up to fucking bite them.
But what shit fucking like intelligence officers these are that they think that sitting down with 2 cops and being asked about their deployment wasn't going to come bite them in the arse at any point.
2 cops who at the forefront of investigating the unit the covert unit you were in for. I mean, again, I still can't work out whether he's genuinely dumb or he's playing dumb, or it's probably, as you said yesterday, some from column A, some from column B. Certain people seem to think that he's not playing dumb because it's not reflecting well on him, but he's actually dodging some really quite difficult questioning by saying, I don't think that was my report. That might not have been my report, and I didn't write the report. You'd have to ask the officers who wrote the report. I wouldn't have put it like that. And where does Barr go? He's doing a decent job of trying to analyze.
Yeah.
But where do you go when someone goes,
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember, I didn't say that, they've misinterpreted it.
I mean, there's been a few weird ones. I mean, like, there was one report there which was looking at the role of Socialist Party members in trade unions.
Yeah.
And that's something which is like supposedly they weren't interested in, the spying on the trade unions. Here's a massive report on it.
Absolutely.
But it includes saying that, you know, the Socialist Party wanted a communist or socialist state. You went, oh, that can't have been me because I would have never used the word communist. I'm like, what?
And you didn't understand anything about socialism.
Yeah, but the idea that somehow that means it can't have been then, can't have been then, Carlo, because the word communist is in it, and you don't have to spell that word or something. I don't know what.
Yeah, he's basically just not being at all transparent. He's given very little away. He's denying things. So it is really hard to pin him down. Like that rent book thing yesterday, I really thought that was going to be a moment. But he fumbled his way. He bumbled and fumbled his way through it.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that neither Barr nor Mitting believe the word.
That's true.
I mean, his suggestion that somehow the back office was the one who forged the signatures. I mean, like, come on.
I mean, even if it was, that's still pretty.
Yeah.
Awful.
And I mean, he's setting himself up for his managers to be not a fan of his at all, isn't he?
Absolutely. So we just keep saying, you know, ask such and such when they come to give evidence. You better ask such and such. You know what I mean? So, I mean, such and such are just going to deny all knowledge, aren't they?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you've got one party denying, the other party denying, and it is, it's who you believe. But I still maintain, and people will say, "Don't be stupid. You can't judge on this." He has a lying face. He has a demeanor which he adopts when he lies, and occasionally I'm kind of going, "That's it," you know.
Yeah.
So, I doubt Barr will analyze like that. But
I mean, we've been thinking through a lot of his reports, which have included anecdotal sort of mentions of like some random piece of violence that happens, some supposed fascist who gets attacked, and each and every time he has to go, oh, it's something I heard in the pub, it's something I heard at a social gathering. And I mean, there's even reports he's written about individuals who he's never met.
Yeah,
that is just purely based on, well, I had a few beers with Mario and he told me all about it.
Yeah, I mean, someone described them as a mic, like a microphone.
Yeah,
that's what they're like, and that is absolutely they're picking up everything, and absolutely not thinking, don't have the intelligence to think about what this actually could mean to an individual. I mean, the stuff that's written about Dan Gilman there, which it's really good that Barr's picking it up and saying, okay, so you're saying that he's moving away from violent attacks and activism, and but you only managed to report on one
second-hand thing that he exactly that supposedly heard about, you know, after drink had been taken in a pub, you know, and it was put to him that maybe some of this stuff was bravado, and he was like, well, that's not for me to decide, I just reported it. And it's like, well, but this stuff's going into reports that are going to have a serious effect on people's lives.
Absolutely.
He's like, well, it's not for me to, I mean, I agree that it probably was bravado, but I wasn't going to tell that to my superiors. I wanted to continue my role.
And a perfect example of that was about Steve Hadley and that report this morning. What was it called? I wrote it down somewhere because I was like, what? Coded bomb threat warning.
The coded bomb threat,
So I mean, Barr, and good on him, he pointed out that may have serious consequences for for this individual. And again, he had no proof. There was no onward report. There was no further reporting of that, and it was again hearsay. And I mean, it's quite nauseating. He is nauseating. You know what I mean? It really is. The inquiry, I don't know how satisfied they're going to be by any of this, whether they've already made their mind up, but it is, he's ridiculous.
There always comes a point in the week when it's an undercover officer week where you just feel like, oh my God, I want to wash this man out of my fucking eyes. Like, and because you really do feel when you're spending day in, day out in the same room where the majority of the things that you're hearing are from this person, you feel sick,
absolutely,
for a while. And I mean, like for you, particularly obviously with your history with this odious character,
well, it's been quite useful, the fact that any tender feelings I ever had towards him are absolutely expunged. He is incredibly vile individual, and he is the opposition.
He's very
he's
much
the political opposition, personification of,
and
it's, I mean, for everyone sitting in the room, like, Dan's in the room hearing all this. Donna's in the room. There's quite a few people in the room who have been in the room over the last few days who he's written completely unsubstantiated and quite severe things about.
I did the last video I did with Claire Doyle. from the Socialist
Oh,
Party.
you did. I'll watch that later.
Yeah, and she was saying that, you know, like hers, so she remembers him being this jolly fellow who like brought wine for the fundraisers they did, and we used to do all the cooking for these Italian nights they would do as fundraisers. And she was like that. She said, you know, he didn't seem that interested in the politics, but he was very keen on the social. And
Absolutely.
and we're really getting this impression from someone who was just hanging around the pub, hanging around the socials, just listening into any drunken chat, and then just verbatim saying all of that to his managers.
Yeah, like it has some great significance. Yeah, and you know, that's what he was like. That's why people liked him. He was like he was absolutely like the entertainment committee. You know, he'd make his own alcohol. He'd make cakes. He'd make. Well, I didn't particularly like his food, I must admit, but anyway, but he did make food for people. He was, you know, and someone said, how scary that there's this nice, relatively silent person in the company who was actually reporting everything back. That's actually quite freaky.
Yeah.
You know.
We've had a couple of comments. I don't know if the questions. Have a look. Someone from the campaign opposing police surveillance. The disbanding of No Platform, his managers exaggerating his influence, but the direction of exaggeration is interesting. They clearly regard the group's existence as illegitimate in itself, and its disbanding as intrinsically desirable, no matter what they were actually up to. I mean, I think that came across very strongly. I mean, there's been a lot of an attempt by former undercover officers to say that disruption was not part of their role. But I think that report on No Platform really showed that, you know, yes, we were successful because they were disrupted. They were unable to disrupt the fascists. Therefore, this was a good deployment. That Carlo Sorachi's deployment was a success because the disruption was caused.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit that was one of the moments I kind of tuned out. I didn't know what is this a report to get further funding or an NDV report or something?
It was an overview on No Platform. It was another comment there. My role was to prevent public disorder, even if it was imagined. Which was what
that stuck out in my mind, even if it was imagined.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you go from that?
I mean, literally,
yeah,
you know, I mean, it's a war against our imagination. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, our very freaking imaginations were infiltrated. I mean, it's only a short break. I think we're probably going back in now. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
if you're
Tom.
able to share, like this video, it makes a huge difference to how widely it's seen. We're reporting for the rest of the day, and I'll do another video at the end of the day. Please join us then.
Please share and like it. Tom's working really hard.